Halito. I am very, very sorry about the time that it took me to get another video up and going. I do have a Choctaw dictionary now. It's a really big book. Not every Choctaw word is in there, but the majority of them are, so any questions anybody has, you can direct those to me, and I will let you know. And so, the last video I put up was for Chapter 1 words. I'm going to skip Chapter 2 because Chapter 2 was just continuation on Chapter 1 since that first chapter was so long. So basically we just had a little time period where we continued with Chapter 1. And I figure the amount of time it's been, Chapter 1 was easy anyway, but you know, with the amount of time that I took off, you probably know the words pretty well by now. So I'm going to go on to Chapter 3. And Chapter 3 was really, really short. So I probably will be adding Chapter 4 in with it, if I can get the time right. But we will jump into Chapter 3 here, and the first word on our list was a declarative word, and it is the word for no, which is kiyo. And you have to be careful in conversation. In writing, it's not so much of a problem, but in conversation, you have to listen because kiyo, K-E-Y-U, is no. But there is a negation word in Choctaw that is also kiyo, but it's spelled K-I-Y-O, and it means not. So the kiyo, no, would come at the beginning of a sentence, and then the word for not comes at the end. So let me find an example here. We'll get a good example going for you guys, because this does get confusing from time to time. Okay, so we have a sentence here on my list, says, no, that is not a brown cat. And the translation for that is kiyo, yamat katos losakbi kiyo. So that first kiyo is no. Yamat is, it's a word that just, it means that, or it can mean those, depending on the translation for the sentence. Katos, of course, you remember from Chapter 1, is cat, and losakbi is brown, and then kiyo at the end is not. So that's where you kind of have to be careful in conversation. But in any writing that's done, it's pretty easy to remember once you get going with it. The other word is aw, and it's just an A with an underlined A. I've written it as an A with an apostrophe because my video editor will not allow me to underline the vowels that are nasalized. If you go to the Choctaw Nation website, you can get the Choctaw language dictionary, and it was written, you know, it was originally started back before removal by Cyrus Byington. And in this dictionary, nasalized vowels will have the vowel written out with a superscript N beside it to tell you that it's nasalized. Well, my video editor, I can't do that with my software either, so I'm going to be using the apostrophe. But just remember that a little apostrophe means that the vowel has been nasalized. So, this nasalized A means yes. And then we had question markers. We had on, yon, and hon. And really, the difference between these is when you use on, hon, and yon, on, nasalized O, follows a word with a consonant sound. An example is Yammat sholosh on, are those shoes? So since sholosh ends with that sh, you would use on. When you use hon, you use it after a verb, an action word, more specifically. So like if you said Ofi yat balili hon, Ofi is dog, yat is the subject marker, balili means run, and then hon is the question marker that you would use for that sentence. So that's just asking, is the dog running? And then the question marker yon follows a descriptive word, a noun, if you will, that describes the subject, like a predicated adjective or a predicate noun. So an example here would be ilapat hoshi homayon. Ilapat is this, hoshi is bird, homa is red, and then you use yon because your last word was homa. And that sentence basically just means, is this a red bird? But the main point of this chapter was to be able to learn to ask simple questions and then to answer simple questions. So, you'd have, and to negate sentences as well. You would have, like, in our model sentences, we had ilapat sholosh losa. This is a black shoe. So ilapat sholosh losa. And, you'd say, and this is a black shoe. The next sentence was, this is not a red shoe, and that is ilapat sholosh homakiyo. So that's where you'd use that not, that kiyo at the end. Those are 7 green trees. Yamat iti okchamali ontoklo. Yamat being those, iti is your tree, or in this case trees, since nouns are both singular and plural at the same time. Okchamali is green, and ontoklo is 7. The next sentence is, those are not 7 yellow trees. And the translation for that would be, Yamat iti lakna ontoklo kiyo. Yamat, once again, is those. Iti is your tree. Lakna is yellow. Ontoklo 7. And kiyo is not. The next sentence, is this a white mouse? And the translation is, ilapat pinti tohbiyo. Ilapat pinti tohbiyo. Ilapat is this. Pinti is your mouse, tohbi is white, and since tohbi is a descriptive word, you end with the question marker yon. The next sentence says, yes, this is a white mouse. Ah, yamat pinti tohbi. Your next sentence says, is this a brown cat? And the translation is, yamat katos losak biyon. And that's, yamat is that, katos means cat, losakbi is brown, and once again, since losakbi is a descriptive word, you would end with yon. And since we didn't have a lot of verbs yet. That's why a lot of the examples I gave ended with yon. But it's something you pick up, something you learn fairly quickly. So that was chapter 3. I hope that this makes sense still. If you have any questions at all, you can put them in the comments. If you have subscribed, you can go to my channel and write something in. I try to check it often. I'm trying to get back into that swing of things. I do remember somebody asked how to say I love you, and that is chihololi. Chi is you, holo is love, and li means I. So chihololi, I love you. And I appreciate all of you for being so patient. I appreciate all of you for watching, taking interest, because I have found this very interesting and very fun. I hope that you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. And until my next video, chipin sa la chiki.